Good afternoon, all. This is Tanvir Syed. Okay, now for this next video, I'm going to do something different. At the request of one of my acquaintances, I'm going to mix in a little bit of Bengali in this. কারণ একটা লোক অনুরোধ করছে যে আমি কি at least মানে কিছুটা হলেও আমি আমার এই এই ভিডিও আর এটার সামনে যা ভিডিও থাকবে এই এই টপিক নিয়ে আমি এটার সম্বন্ধে বাংলা কথা বলি, like include Bengali in it as well because like obviously I'm from Bangladesh and like there's some people in Bangladesh who actually watch my stuff. All right, so uh, with that out of the way, my topic for today and for this video is the grouping of all disabilities under one category. যা disability আছে সবটা একসঙ্গে দেখা, just as people with disabilities. Is this a problem? এটা একটা সমস্যা নাকি? In my opinion, yes. Absolutely. এটা আমার ধারণায় অনেক বড় একটা সমস্যা. And also, I would like to know if this format works for you because I'm mixing in a little bit of Bengali with English from time to time. If this works for you, please put it down in the comment section below. Or if this is a bit distracting, just let me know in the comment section below and I'll have separate sections that I will timestamp in the video. Now, the সমস্যা কেন? Why is it a problem? Okay. I'll give you a very good example. This is just like saying যে ধরে নেন যে আফ্রিকান আমেরিকান বা নেটিভ আমেরিকান বা লাটিনো বা প্যাসিফিক আইল্যান্ডার বা এশিয়ান আমেরিকান সবাইকে একসঙ্গে দেখা হলো, minorities. So you see all these groups, African Americans, Native Americans, you name it, all these white Americans, all of them, you just see them as one group, minorities. What ends up happening? Their individual problems specific to these groups don't get addressed as much. A গ্রুপের যা নিজস্ব সমস্যা আছে যেটা খালি মানে এই গ্রুপের মধ্যেই থাকবে, এই গ্রুপের মধ্যেই দেখবেন, ধরে নাও কোনো কালচারাল চ্যালেঞ্জেস বা কোনো লিঙ্গুইস্টিক চ্যালেঞ্জেস, হ্যাঁ, ভালো মতো ইংরেজি ভাষা বলতে পারে না অনেকগুলো কারণের জন্য, হ্যাঁ, এগুলো অনেক বড় চান্স আছে যে এগুলোকে অ্যাড্রেস করা হবে না, এই সমস্যাগুলোকে বেশি অ্যাটেনশন দেওয়া হবে না. We don't see that, do we? We don't see that because yes, under certain this is just on my knowledge as much as I know, because listen, I'm not into disability studies specifically, I'm not primarily into disability studies. I'm getting into the challenge with disabilities by proxy because it relates to my project. I started off with one disability, with visual impairment, and by proxy, I'm actually ending up learning about other challenges as well. Okay. We don't see all non-white. And I'm sorry, I don't want to sound too SJW-ish. I don't want to sound like the modern day social justice warrior. No, because honestly, I hate to a very large extent. I hate them. But that is for another video. Why to a large extent, not fully, but to a large extent, I hate the current the current SJW movement. It's for another video. if I ever get to it. But my point being is that you don't see all non-white groups like clumped together as one. আমরা এটা এটা কিন্তু মানে যদি আমরা যেখানে যাই জব মানে অ্যাপ্লিকেশন বা মানে এয়ারপোর্টে মানে অনেকগুলো জায়গায় আমরা কিন্তু এটা দেখি না যে যে এই সব গ্রুপকে মাইনরিটি হিসাবে এক গ্রুপের মানে মানে এক গ্রুপের মধ্যে আহ, ঢুকানো বা এক গ্রুপের মতো দেখা যে এরা সবাই মাইনরিটি তো এরা সবাই একই আমরা কিন্তু এটা দেখি না মানে আমরা দেখি যে the black African American some places you see black African American black non-African American you know like because you know African American, like like black does not mean African American. Like they're black living outside. They're people with black skin living outside of like the United States. In fact, there are people with black skin living in South India. Okay, some of my extended family members are like Xbox PS4 controller black. Okay, but we don't see that with the races or the ethnicities মানে racially বা ethnically আমরা কিন্তু এটা দেখি না কিন্তু disability সম্বন্ধে আমরা কেন এটা দেখি why do we see this in when it comes to disabilities and it's not something that is like subjective like you're only subjectively disabled and whatnot like you can choose to be disabled no and that's also another one of the reasons like the whole trans-ableism movement like this is why like I have a sincere amount of loathing for the majority of the SJW movement. Sincere amount of loathing. Okay. But I'm talking about who have serious conditions, okay? Serious disability, like, like physical and like, even like a lot of, I won't say all of them because when uh, some of them I personally think are exaggerated, but a good amount of mental disabilities as well. Why are they all clumped as one? এতগুলো ফিজিক্যাল ডিসেবিলিটি দেখি অনেকগুলো সবগুলো না কিন্তু অনেকগুলো মেন্টাল ডিসেবিলিটি দেখি এটা কেন আমরা সবাই দেখতেছি যে একসঙ্গে দেখা হইতেছে কেন আই ডোন্ট হ্যাভ অ্যান অ্যান্সার টু দিস এটার উত্তর আমার কাছে নাই এটার কনসিকোয়েন্স কিন্তু এটার কনসিকোয়েন্স কিন্তু দেখা যাইতেছে we can see the consequences of this I'll just give you one consequence যারা দৃষ্টি প্রতিবন্ধী একটা consequence যাদের যারা দৃষ্টি প্রতিবন্ধী মানে যাদের চোখ খারাপ হ্যাঁ কারেকশনের পরে after correction who are still moderately to severely visually impaired like mostly like like moderate to severely visually impaired or the whole visually impaired population more than 7 out of 10 of every of more than 7 out of every 10 people with visual impairment don't have full-time work. More than 8 out of 10 people with visual impairment in the US don't have a bachelor's degree. প্রায় 70 ভাগের বেশি যাদের চোখ খারাপ দৃষ্টি প্রতিবন্ধী ইউনাইটেড স্টেটসে ওরা ফুল টাইম এমপ্লয়েড না তার উপরে প্রায় 85% প্রায় 85% যাদের চোখ খারাপ বা দৃষ্টি প্রতিবন্ধী ইউনাইটেড স্টেটসে লেটেস্ট ডেটা যা বলতেছে ওদের কাছে ব্যাচেলার্স ডিগ্রিও নাই so despite things like the affirmative action despite things like ability one, affirmative action, ability one, equal employment opportunity council, এই তিনটা জিনিস থাকার পরেও, despite having these three things and even more, Section 504, Section 508, Americans with Disability Act, the the numerous revisions to IDEA, we are still seeing these statistics. Okay, and just as a side note, I've just read a report a few minutes ago. Um, I don't know about too many other disabilities, but apparently the case for people with autism is even worse. So, like, and also, like, I've read also another report. Like, I'm not going to link that report here because, like, I think, like, the data is not organized properly. So, like, it's going to end up confusing a lot of readers. That's what I think. But apparently, like, a good number of disabled people end up being self-employed because they don't want to face all the challenges. Yes, না, আরেকটা রিপোর্টে মানে দেখা যাচ্ছে যে বেশিরভাগ যারা ডিসেবল পপুলেশন, মানে যারা ডিসেবল লোক আছে, ওরা কিন্তু সেলফ এমপ্লয়েড হয়ে যায়। কারণ ওরা এইসব ঝামেলা ঝামেলা নিয়ে থাকতে চায় না যে 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 আমার এমপ্লয়ার মানে 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 কি করবে বা আমি কি কি চ্যালেঞ্জ ফেস করব। হ্যাঁ, ওরা এইসব ঝামেলা সৃষ্টি করতে চায় না, আর এইসব ঝামেলা মানে সহ্য করতে চায় না। Even if I'm not mistaken, yours truly, what's her name? Molly Burke. I think that she mentioned that in that last video. Hey, Molly Burke মানে মানে কি বলছে ওই শেষ ভিডিওতে, যে আমি 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 যেটা রেসপন্ড করছিলাম। She is self-employed. These are the, I believe, these are the consequences of conflating all disabilities as one, because our individual challenges are not addressed properly. I'm not saying one disability is greater than the other, one disability less than the other. Just like I'm not saying, like, the African Americans, like, they have greater challenges than the Latinos, or they have greater challenges than the Asian Americans, or Latinos have greater challenges than, like, the Native Americans. No, I'm not saying that, but we have unique challenges. আমাদের সবার একটা নিজস্ব চ্যালেঞ্জ আছে। আমরা ক্লোন না, we are not clones, we are not identical. This equality is an overall perspective. It's an overall view. It's an overall what do you call it, approach. Not equality, not identical. Absolutely not identical. Okay, like I said, let me just repeat my example from. No, okay, you know what? No, and um I'm thinking, because I'm sorry, I don't have a script. এটার জন্য আমার স্ক্রিপ্ট নাই। হ্যাঁ, আমি এটা মানে মানে সুজা মানে 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 ক্যামেরা চালে কথা বলতেছি। I just turn on the camera, I just talk. I don't have a script for this. And this is how I usually roll, unless I'm doing like an impact review, or like let's say like I'm making a detailed breakdown of a video, or like I'm doing a sports match review. I usually just talk from the top of my head. Okay, just a moment. Okay, gotta get going. See, this is the consequence of conflating like, what I feel one of the consequences of like combining all of them together. Oh yes, where did I start? Oh yes, the example. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. The example. Okay, like I said, imagine, okay, There is a completely blind person. Okay, imagine there's a completely blind person, and then you have a person. He goes into a presentation which is based on lecture slides, and you have a sign language interpreter. Sorry, ধরে নেন একটা কমপ্লিটলি মানে অন্ধ লোক গেছে মানে যাইতেছে একটা লেকচারে লেকচার স্লাইডস আছে ওই লেকচারে, হ্যাঁ, মানে ওটা হচ্ছে মানে তোমার মেথড অফ ইনস্ট্রাকশন, আর সামনে একটা সাইন ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ ইন্টারপ্রিটার দাঁড়িয়ে আছে, সাইন ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ দিয়ে কথা বলতেছে। After and that institute will claim that, oh, see, we have a sign language interpreter, we cater to the disabled. Cater to who? The disabled, that group, just one member of the group, like the disabled. That's like, look, that's like saying, let's say an organization, now, just imagine an organization ABC. Okay, you know their boss is extremely racist, but they will hire, let's say, two Samoan people and say, no, we don't have prejudice. Like, you don't see any African Americans, you don't see any Latinos, you don't see any Asian Americans, you just see two people from the Isle of Samoa. And say, no, we are diverse. We hire minorities. That's exactly what's happening. না আমরা ডাইভার্স, আমরা দুইটা সামওয়ান লোকদের এমপ্লয় করছি, আমরা মাইনরিটিকে হায়ার করি। That's exactly what's happening. The individual challenges do not get addressed. So despite all these legislations, the fact that you have such appalling statistics existing shows you that the current system is not working. And it's not working at the rate it should. Yes, I've read that report too, where a lot of disabled people tend to be much older, like beyond the working age. But what about those within the working age? The statistics are not good for them either. Why do you think they end up being self-employed? Excuse me. So, my solution, what I recommend, two things. First, you must have some dedicated organizations. And if you have them already, take actions to improve their efficiency, to improve their impact. Because don't forget, in the end, why were all these organizations made? Things like affirmative action, Equal Employment Opportunity Council, the Section 504, Section 508, the American with Disability Act, IDEA. Why were all these amendments and all these legislations made? They were made to achieve an outcome. They were made to allow people with, let's say, disabilities, or who come from different ethnic, racial, or religious backgrounds, to be given equal opportunity. Listen, I'm not saying that, like, there's absolutely no equality. I'm not saying that. Like a lot of the political hate mongers will say that, no, like, now, you know what? I'm not gonna go there in this video. But just look at the employment and unemployment statistics of the disabled. Just look at it. There is no reason why almost 85% of people with visual impairments should not have a bachelor's degree. There is no reason for that. You can't say that, like, they just choose not to have a bachelor's degree. Why do they choose not to have a bachelor's degree when almost every statistic tells you that people with college education have a higher chance of being employed? This tells you that it's not that they choose not to. It's most likely, and I've read articles on this as well. I've read articles on this as well expressing this opinion. It's they get it's the fact that they get demotivated. ওরা ব্যাচেলার্স ডিগ্রির জন্য আর এডুকেশন জন্যই চ্যালেঞ্জ সহ্য করতে 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 ইচ্ছা শক্তি হারিয়ে ফেলে। They lose their motivation to even study. And as an educator, একটা এডুকেটর হিসাবে তুমি মানে আপনারা জানেন one of the worst things you can expect, one of the worst things you can see happen is your a student being demotivated. একটা ছাত্র যার ইচ্ছা শক্তি যার পড়াশোনার ইচ্ছা নাই ওদের নিয়ে কিন্তু অনেক কম করা যায়। You cannot do much with them uh, without motivation. So my solution, first, separate this whole perception of people with disabilities into smaller chunks, smaller, more manageable chunks, so that our individual challenges can be addressed more efficiently. And second, if you must ask me, look, there needs to be no, there needs to be, I would say, a more aggressive approach towards solving this problem by almost everyone. And the representation. Because listen, human beings are vicarious learners no matter what. The representation for people with disabilities and success, with different types of disabilities. Don't just put one person on crutches, okay? Just one person on crutches on a like on some talk show and think that that appeals to every person with a disability. No, I'm sorry, but that person does not represent every person with a disability, because a lot of people have very different disabilities and thus the challenges are somewhat specific to them. So this is why I go back to my first video, awareness. This is why I say awareness is such a big issue. So there needs to be a much more aggressive approach towards helping people with visual impairment. No, sorry, helping competent people. I'm not giving up on competency. Just because I want people with visual impairments and like with like a lot of disabilities to be represented more does not mean that I'm championing people with disabilities who are not competent to get to get positions they don't deserve based on their because they don't qualify, because they don't meet the competency standards. No. For me, competency is almost non-negotiable. If a person with disabilities is willing to work so hard and do everything that they can to achieve those competency levels, there is no reason organizations should turn them away. Okay, you know what? I'll put in a third one. I'll put in a third one. একটা তৃতীয় solution is the thing. I feel that Section 504, this is just what I feel. I feel that legislation like Section 504 should have more clear clause. And even like a verbal exchange on why someone could not be employed. Like if someone, if an, let's say a manager calls you in and says, oh, could you talk to you? And then they say like, oh, we couldn't hire you because like, you're disabled. You're highly qualified, but you're disabled, and like you can't do this job. A lot of times they'll not give this to you in writing. I'm sorry, but sometimes the actions have to get punitive. Sometimes. I would like for there to be some type of method where even these verbal exchanges could be like could be used as evidence for discrimination. Because believe me, it happens. It happens. I'm not saying in all places, but occasionally I believe. Look, personally, it happened to me. It happened to me. So this is why, like the legislation needs to be more uh, rigid and with fewer loopholes. এই legislationটা আরো একটু legislation অনেক ভালো. The legislation is actually quite good, but it needs to close up its loopholes. এটার মধ্যে যা একটু লুপহোল আছে ওটাকে একটু বন্ধ করা উচিত. So first, divide up. The first, don't view all disabled people as one, that you are all disabled people regardless of your disabilities. No, because we have our unique challenges. Two, better representation and awareness. And three, better legislation. So, প্রথম, সব ডিসেবল লোক এক না, কারণ আমাদের আমাদের ডিসেবিলিটি অনুযায়ী নিজস্ব চ্যালেঞ্জ আছে. দুই, মানে আরো ভালো রিপ্রেজেন্টেশন আর অ্যাওয়ারনেস সৃষ্টি করা. আর তিন, আরো মানে এই লেজিসলেশনকে ইমপ্রুভ করা. Okay, and just given on number two, let me give. Okay, this happened to me a few days ago. I went into one place and basically I showed them some documents, and we had to discuss the details of these documents. The person I'm supposed to discuss with, like, saw my blind cane and said that, oh, we don't have braille. We don't know. We can't do braille. মানে আমরা একটা একটা ডকুমেন্ট নিয়ে গেছিলাম, মানে কারোর সঙ্গে, মানে একটা লোকের, মানে দুইটা লোকের সঙ্গে মানে কথা বলতেছিলাম. ওরা মানে মানে এই ডকুমেন্টের ইমপ্রুভমেন্ট বা ফিডব্যাক, হ্যাঁ ওরা যা দিবে, হ্যাঁ এটা ডিসকাস করার জন্য. হ্যাঁ, ওরা আমার ব্লাইন্ড কেন দেখে বলছে যে না, মানে না, আপনার আপনার জন্য আমরা ব্রেল তৈরি করতে পারবো না. দুই তিনবার বলছে ব্রেল তৈরি করতে পারবো না. They told me 2 or 3 times we can't arrange braille. Look, I got insulted. এটা আমি এটা একটা পর্যায়ে আমি মানে মানে এতবার বলতে আমি আমি এটা একটু একটু ভাবে অপমানিত ভাবে নিছি. I told them, like, I told them straight up, like, stop, stop. Who told you I use braille? I looked them straight in the eye as much as I could. I'm like I raised my hand, like, stop, stop. Like, I told them right where they were talking, like this, stop. এরকম ইশারা করে বলতে, চুপ, চুপ, চুপ. আপনাকে কে বলছে আমি ব্রেল ইউজ করি? Because this is this is an this is a consequence of the lack of awareness. These people supposedly, like, they worked in big organizations, yet and ওরা বড় বড় অর্গানাইজেশনে চাকরি করছে অনেক দিন ধরে, yet কিন্তু তবুও they don't know that almost 92% of people with visual impairments do not use braille. I'm sorry. As far as I'm concerned, in like as far as I'm concerned, to a certain extent, for the time for basically the time for expecting people to be merciful towards you, যে সময় যে আমরা বেসিক্যালি এক্সপেক্ট করব যে লোক আমাদের প্রতি দয়া মায়া দেখাবে, আর এই দয়া মায়াতে আমরা জীবিত থাকবো। To a lot of extent, the time for this, in my estimation, is over. I'm not saying break the law. No, 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 no. But you have to be more assertive. That's all I'm saying. You have to be assertive. Some people have different ways of being assertive. This is my way of being assertive. All right, that's about it. Please আমাকে আমাকে বলবেন যে এই ফরম্যাট আপনাদের জন্য কাজ করছে নাকি, কারণ আমার বাংলা আনফরচুনেটলি তেমন ভালো না। আমাকে মানে ক্লাস মানে মানে ক্লাস 7 এর পরে আমাকে তেমন বাংলা পড়ানো হয়নি, কারণ মানে ওই যে ফরম্যাট ফরম্যাটিং এর সমস্যা and whatnot. So please tell me if this format works for you. Otherwise, just let me know what changes you would like to see. All right. Please do hit that like button, do hit the subscribe button, and more importantly, please share it with people who you think would find this information useful. And any feedback you want to see in terms of improvements to this video, please let me know, and I will try and make those happen. This is Tanveer Said, signing out.